Taoiseach, you might outline in detail the new scheme introduced this week to support those sectors worst hit by COVID, and particularly those that have been closed down now under Level 3 and Level 4 restrictions. We have the broad outline of the scheme, but we don't have the detail.
Is this the new COVID restrictions subsidy scheme?
Yep.
Yes. So we will have more details next week. It's going to be operated by the revenue. It will be open to applications. We intend next week first payments will be made to companies in November and be done on a weekly basis, a payment to help cover their fixed costs when they're closed. It's largely focused at SMEs, the amount you can claim is based on your turnover in 2019. It's 10% of the first million, 5% of the second million, and the maximum grant that any company can claim is $5,000 a month. It is for companies that are closed as a consequence of government restrictions. So it's not for any company that may be closed for any reason. It's for companies that are closed directly as a consequence of government public health restrictions. But you don't have to be 100% closed in recognising the fact, for example, that let's say restaurants or cafes are now only operating on a takeaway basis or 15 patrons outside basis. You can still make the claim and get the full amount if you're operating at a turnover that is down 80% from where it would have been in 2019, and again on a weekly basis.
So what you're saying is, if your turnover falls 80% or more, you can get the full amount. If it falls, for example, 50% to 80%, can you get anything? No. So it has to have fallen 80% or more. You might also explain to me, Minister, there is a Restart grant and a Restart Plus grant. And my understanding was that you could get both of those grants. However, very suddenly, without warning, the Restart grant stopped 3 weeks before the originally announced date. Is there any consideration be given to making the Restart grant available to those who would have been eligible if they had applied, within that 3-week period that suddenly disappeared on them? Because, as I said, some people got 2 grants and some people only got 1 grant.
Yeah, thanks, Deputy. There were 2 restart grants, as you know. There was the original Restart grant, which was set up by the last government, and then the Restart Grant Plus, which was set up by the new government as part of the July stimulus. And the terms and conditions were different, but there are some businesses that were eligible to get both grants, the Restart Grant and the Restart Grant Plus. And there is a small enough but substantial enough cohort of businesses that didn't apply in time for the first Restart Grant, but did get the Restart Grant Plus. And what we're asking them to do is to put in an appeal to their local authorities, and we will pay it, because there are a number who, it varies from local authority to local authority, but the original deadline was for the Restart Grant was to be the 31st of August. And when the Restart Grant Plus came in and superseded it, there was a group of companies that didn't apply in time for the Restart Grant, but they were entitled to it had they applied earlier, and we do want to give them the grant, and we had the money to give them a grant. So they should appeal to their local authority. If the local authority refuses the appeal, let me know, because the intention was that they should get both grants if they were eligible for both grants.
Taoiseach, I guarantee you I cut and paste what you've just said here and make sure that they bring that to the attention of the local authority. I suspect that if the department had persisted in playing this jiggery-pokery of cutting back 3 weeks suddenly without notice, that the Ombudsman would have ruled in favour of those who could have applied by the date that was set by the department and was suddenly changed. But I do welcome you saving everybody the bother of going round the mountain to vindicate their rights, and I think it's only sensible at this time not to, Another issue, Taoiseach, disruptive technology companies are finding it very hard to get money in the markets at the moment, because obviously capital markets are difficult are wary of investing. Private equity funds are very wary of investing. Is there any thought be given to allowing Enterprise Ireland release some funds to these disruptive technology companies that have been approved money from them, so that they can get on with their business, and once things settle down, that they can then get the private equity money to meet the requirements of Enterprise Ireland?
We're aware of that being an issue, and Enterprise Ireland is working on a solution that would help provide loans and finance to those companies because of what's happening in the markets at the moment. So I'll send you in writing a bit more detail on that, but we're aware of the issue, and Enterprise Ireland is working on a solution to it. And you're quite right, Deputy Ó Cuív, and your ministerial experience is showing I have no interest whatsoever in having a maladministration finding made against us by the Ombudsman. So if they were entitled to both grants, they should get both grants.
Thank you very much.